In that context, groups from civil society came up with a proposal to leave oil under the ground, a proposal that was then passed on to later was taken by the Ecuadorian government, and that then became the Yasuni ITT initiative. It was the first time that a concrete proposal was presented to the international community through the United Nations. But sadly, 6 years later, in 2013, as we saw before, the initiative was cancelled by the government. However, there were already citizens all around Ecuador that were very committed to the initiative, so we joined and we took the name of Yasunidos. Our commitment came from two reasons. The first one is the people in involuntary isolation. Those are the Tarari and Terminale. We know that their disciplines would just add up to the systematic genocide that we have witnessed in the Amazon rainforest, the Amazon rainforest in general. It is so disastrous that it's got its own term. We call it ecocide. Tarari and Terminale are their autonomy, their self-determination is what has allowed them to keep their culture, their knowledges that are out of the ever more homogenizing capitalistic perspectives and lifestyles. The reasons just kept piling up as we investigated a little further. There's an oil spill every week in Ecuador. We found out that all revenues coming from the extraction of Yasuni ITT would cover barely just 2 years of bureaucracy in Ecuador, which was calculated with oil prices at that time that were around $100 per barrel. We know that is not true anymore. So actions had to be taken, and what we decided was to collect signatures to call a referendum to confront the government's decision. It was the first time ever that Ecuadorian civil society exercised our constitutional right to demand a direct vote on a country's decision. In a country that was the first ever to include nature's rights as constitutional rights. We have that on our constitution, so everything fitted. It just seemed, it made sense. So during 6 months, we children, young people, elder, indigenous, urban, rural people, gathered signatures or we signed ourselves, and collaborating doing this, unexpectedly having to resist the government's repression that they constantly discredited our work and our intentions in the national media, and they even spied on the phones and email accounts of the movement's members, as well as the places that serve as collecting points. So we didn't expect to be awarded as life defenders or anything, but neither did we think we'd be treated as criminals, as it happened. But at the end, the harassment come not to be enough, so they had to shamelessly nullify 60% of the signatures that we have gathered in order to call off the referendum. For reasons of form, not of substance. They were so ridiculous, such as to that the size paper was 2 millimeters too small, or that the weight was not the adequate. So that the breach, this violation of our political rights, not only ours but of 700,000, more than 700,000 people in Ecuador, was also denounced in the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights.
Thanks, Carolina.
Good afternoon with you all. Carolina, also from the Yasunidos Collective. And in this afternoon, I would quickly like to present to you a proposal, also from Yasunidos, that matches pretty good with the Annex 0 that all our friends from all over the world have just presented in the previous presentation. And we have seen that fossil fuels are the substantial part of the crisis, and in spite of the environmental catastrophe and the dropping of the prices of oil, still we see that the oil extraction is going farther, even to affect cultural and ecological fragile territories each time more. That's why Yasuni was a proposal without precedence for a country that is depending on oil extraction to keep oil on the ground, asking to the international community, to the north especially, a matter of co-responsibility, of responsibilities that are common but with difference at the same time. But what happened is that in 2013, the proposal was cancelled by the government, the Ecuadorian government, and then we see that the politicians and the state failed to this unique, unprecedented proposal of tackling with the real causes of climate change and a concrete proposal for starting moving towards a post-oil society, because as we know, at least 2/3 of the oil reserves have to be kept underground if we are going to do something about climate change now. That's why that in spite of the cancellation of this initiative, the Ecuadorian society takes again this initiative on its own hands, and also other groups of the society in the north. We are still believing and we are still keeping up with the idea of keeping oil underground in Yasuni, but also Yasuni like a symbol of keeping fossil fuels and eventually other minerals underground. And that's why we want to present a proposal, a collective proposal to start working together for trying to tackle with these resolutions, but linking directly the north and the south society without waiting and without depending from the states, because we need to take oil away from the economy, take oil away from the culture, and take oil away from the political discussion, and we need also to take market away from the mechanisms of solutions for coping with the climate change, because this has created more speculation, making nature a commodity, controlling territories, and not solving but increasing the emissions. That's why what we would like to propose is the creation of an international fund where we could collect the contributions and link the societies from north and south. The societies, for example, of the Annex 0 that you proposed this afternoon, to make a direct contribution between societies that are struggling from keeping their territories out of extraction and helping the world for hampering and stopping the climate change. So we would like to present this, but it's still something collective. We need to be collectively needs to be built between organizations from north and south, and should be acknowledged by also by all the alternative efforts of the world. Because we are convinced also that this time it's not them, it's not the politicians who are going to do something about this, but it's us, the society, the global society, that has to start doing something against climate change and the defending of human rights in those territories. So, yeah, we hope we can work together, organizations up north, for giving more shape to this international funding and making this linking of north-south, and trying to make a Yasuni out of all these territories that will keep oil and fossil fuels underground, because we are convinced that climate justice starts from the underground.
Thank you.